Hi, my name is Darren, and this is a lockdown story. Case number 4. Ourang Medan Ghost Ship. At some point in June 1947, the exact date is uncertain, the crew of the American-flagged ships Silver Star and City of Baltimore were sailing in an area approximately 400 nautical miles southeast of the Marshall Islands in the Pacific Ocean when they received a Morse code SOS distress call in 3 parts. The call came from a Dutch-flagged freighter by the name of the SS Ourang Medan. The first part of the call gave the ship's position, but then the message took a more sinister tone. It read, "SOS from Ourang Medan. We float. All officers, including the captain, dead in the chart room and on the bridge. Probably whole of crew dead." The next part of the call was indecipherable, a random string of dots and dashes that made no sense at all. The third part was chilling. It simply said, "I die." Following maritime tradition and international law, the closest ship to the position of the call, the Silver Star, set a course for the freighter's last known position, while the City of Baltimore and other ships in the vicinity altered course to render assistance. The Silver Star found the given position, but the ship was not there. But, by following the prevailing current and wind pattern, they eventually found the Ourang Medan floating dead in the water about 50 miles from the initial point. The ship answered no hails, and there was no visible sign of life on board. Her engines were dead. The captain of the Silver Star organised a boarding party, but none of the men were prepared for what they were about to witness. Everyone on the vessel was dead. Even the ship's dog had died, but it was the circumstances of their death that was ultimately chilling. Every sailor was found in an awkward, rigid position, either lying on their back or staring upwards. Their eyes were frozen wide open, and their faces were a mask of what could either be described as agony or pure horror. The ship's dog was found in a similar condition, staring towards the sky with its teeth bared. The radio man was found in the control room, his hand still on the sending key of the Morse code button, but with his face staring upwards, wide-eyed. Their bodies were unmarked. There was no sign of what had killed them at all. The captain of the Silver Star decided to take the Ourang Medan in tow, but as lines were being attached to the ship, a fire broke out in one of its holds. The cause of the ignition was unknown, and the fire spread so quickly and burned so hot that the salvage effort was thwarted. The boarding party returned to the Silver Star, and shortly after, an explosion rippled through the crippled Ourang Medan freighter, sinking it within minutes. With nothing left to salvage and no one to save, the Silver Star returned to its previous course and left the area. So, what killed the crew of the Ourang Medan in such a chilling manner? Several wild theories exist, but 2 main candidates stand out. The first is natural. From time to time, pockets of gas can escape from the ocean floor. These are called gas hydrates, and are formed from either methane or carbon dioxide under the seabed. Sometimes they are released when underwater pressure and seabed conditions allow. It may be that the area around the ship's position became geologically active for a period, and a pocket of gas was released that enveloped the boat and suffocated the crew. However, there is a twist in the tail of this theory, as the release of gas from the ocean floor has been shown to affect buoyancy, and the volume of gas required would all but certainly have sunk the freighter almost immediately. Furthermore, no gas hydrate pockets have been observed in the location of the incident. Suffocation would not have accounted for the awkward positioning of the bodies or the expressions on the faces of the corpses. None of the victims were holding their throats, and there was no sign that anyone had tried to escape the predicament they were in. The second theory, then, is worse. During World War II, as the Japanese military desperately tried to hold on to control of the Pacific Ocean in the wake of the American onslaught following the attack on Pearl Harbor, and as part of the effort to protect the Japanese mainland, all kinds of weapons were considered, from conventional bullets and bombs through to chemical and biological means. And it's at this point we enter into the murky world of Unit 731, a covert branch of the Japanese military who carried out tests and experiments similar, if not worse, than those carried out by the Nazi Joseph Mengele at Auschwitz. Unit 731 was responsible for some of the worst war crimes of World War II, responsible for the deaths of up to 500,000 people, routinely killed in live experiments. At the end of World War II, the researchers and scientists of Unit 731 were offered immunity from prosecution and were rehoused in the United States of America in order to add to that nation's own research into chemical and biological warfare, in much the same way that prominent Nazis, such as the rocket scientist Werner von Braun and his research team, were co-opted into the US military's technological development programs. Bearing in mind that such repatriation actions took place in secret, could it be that the crew of the Ourang Medan were unknowingly carrying chemical weapons that were being transferred from post-war Japan to the United States? Nerve agents in gas form can kill within 1 to 10 minutes and cause a breakdown of mental and physical functions, which may explain the sudden death of the crew and their appearance. It may be that an accident on board released the initial gas that killed the crew, and the subsequent chemical reaction caused the ship to explode. We will never know for sure, but it is possible that the crew of the Ourang Medan were the last victims of World War II. Some people believe that this entire incident is a work of fiction. Records at the time are sketchy, possibly deliberately so. An independent verification of claims made is difficult to come by. However, one piece of evidence does exist. A memo to the then director of the CIA, Allen Dulles, in 1959 from the Merchant Marine Council. The memo exists in the declassified CIA public archive and recounts the event in full. No response to the memo has ever been declassified. But this adds weight to the possibility that this incident was caused by covert actions. Given the veil of secrecy that likely surrounds this event, it is unlikely more details will come to light. The case, although it is a mystery, is closed. Next time, we travel to Zimbabwe in 1994 for something quite extraordinary. Thank you for listening. Stay safe. Goodbye.